Welcome to Transform Today and Do It Again Tomorrow, the life coaching podcast meant to push you to try new things and remind you of things you already know. Sometimes it just takes a person saying it in a new way for you to be like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. It's really sinking in. So that's my goal for you with this podcast. We've talked about coaching tools like being self-aware, setting goals, building good habits, and changing your mindset, right? So today, to add to your list of powerful tools, we're going to talk about the necessity of exercising and eating right. So this is episode number 18, 5 ways to treat your body better. Thinking about exercise and nutrition, it's so important because you can be doing all the things to feed your mind, but if you're ignoring your nutrition and your exercise, you're not going to feel your best. It's just plain and simple. There's no life hack around it. You just have to move your body and you've got to eat well. And we're not looking for perfection here. You know, I'm never interested in 6-pack abs or a perfectly clean diet or like this total perfect world where every day is this regimented, strict way of living. That's not what I'm looking for. Set the bar of expectation lower so you can enjoy life while still reaching some really important goals. And the good news is, as is the case with everything in life coaching, you don't need an overhaul of your life overnight to change, right? And in fact, that is the worst way to go about this. If you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you go crazy and have all these great goals, it doesn't pan out. It's not sustainable. So making small changes here and there, that's going to show your brain, this is good. I like this. While your body starts to gradually enjoy the benefits of eating right and moving more, like having more energy and getting stronger. But slow and steady, that really is the key here, rather than erratic and crazy and I'm going to do this. That's just too much. And when we treat our bodies better, a funny thing happens. Our minds operate better. They really do. It makes sense, right? You can't expect if you drink soda all day that your mind and your body is going to be operating on the same level if you were drinking water all day and eating a good balanced diet, right? It's like putting fuel. It is putting fuel in your tank. Yeah, right. Think of it that way. What fuel am I putting into my body? It does matter. We can say it doesn't really matter. It matters. And we all have computers. You can Google it. Google nutrition. Google the effects of sugar on your body. It all matters. But it's easier to say it doesn't. But it does. I'm sorry. So today I'm going to try to break it down for you and just give you 5 ways you can treat your body better through exercise and nutrition. And I want you to kind of pick and choose where you might want to start. If you already feel your life is in a place where eating right and moving each day is something you automatically do and you don't think about, that's great. I love it. I'm happy for you. That's wonderful. But what you could do, please, awesome if you would do this, please share this episode with someone who's finding it to be difficult, right? Finding it hard to eat right and get moving, because it really might help to hear 5 simple ways that they can start sneaking easier, small, sustainable ways into their life. And it's really important to admit this, guys. There's no shame in admitting it's a struggle. It absolutely is. Think about society. It's just very driven toward instant gratification, and fast food is everywhere. It's not like you see a salad hut on every corner, right? Fast food is everywhere. We're constantly being marketed to buy that delicious, fattening thing. Think of how they market cheeseburgers. There's the close-up of this burger. And the photographers use this method of they put these droplets of moisture on to make it look like this burger is so moist and it's calling your name. It's intentional. So we're surrounded by this beautiful marketing that makes food look so amazing. It's hard to say no to it, right? And we can sit on our couches and binge the next show because it's coming right away. It's just the world is set up to sit around, eat a whole bunch, and make it delicious and fattening. So if you feel like it's a struggle, you're not crazy. It is a struggle. You're not alone. It's absolutely difficult. But I want to challenge you to make a change, right? And to do this, you have to swim upstream. You got to say no to the norm sometimes. And doing something different to say you want better than this, that's worth it, right? You got to do something different. Swim upstream, say, I don't want to be a part of the norm. And if you struggle to make exercise and nutrition part of your life, before we go further into the episode, I would love for you to leave the past behind. Okay? If it's been difficult for you, guess what? Today's a new day. Totally clean slate. Don't put yourself into a box and say, I can't do this. I've never been able to do this. Doesn't matter what you did yesterday or the past 30 years. Today's a brand new day. Listen to this episode with fresh ears and a belief that it matters and that this is something you can conquer in a way that feels right to you. Leave the past behind. Don't assume it's something you're always going to struggle with and it's just not for you. Don't write it off yet. Please, your health is worth it. So you ready to dig in? Okay, so here's 5 ways to treat your body better. Number 1, keep this in mind. Punishment is not the way to long-term success. I think this is why we often shy away from eating right and exercising. We have this picture of like dry tuna on wheat bread and working really hard at the gym. And it's not sustainable. For some people it is. They really thrive on that. But if you have that in your head and it doesn't sound good to you, that's not going to be good for your life if you're like punishing yourself. Eating well and moving your body every day, that should be something that doesn't feel like punishment. And this is your life, right? You got to enjoy it a little bit. So don't punish yourself, but also you can't be making bad choices every day that are going to cause issues down the line. So although punishment's not the goal is to set some boundaries that you can slowly get on board with until they no longer feel like boundaries, just feels like who you are. So in other words, punishment and misery, that's not what we're going after here. But we're also not after the phrase, oh, anything goes, feels good. Too much of that is too much. That might feel great in the moment, but it's going to catch up with you. So find that balance. Just like everything else in life coaching, find the balance. We're not looking for punishment, but that pendulum should not be swinging the other way too, of like, oh, let's do anything. I love Doritos all day. Nope, can't do that either. So find what feels good to you in that sweet spot of the middle ground. Okay, so punishment is not the way to long-term success. So take that off your mind, okay? Number 2, make exercise fun. This sort of goes along with number 1, with not making exercise a punishment. But if you don't like going to the gym, hey, don't go. I'm not saying don't do anything, but don't go. You do have to figure out what feels fun to you. It's going to take some curiosity and really thinking about, oh, what do I like? When we were kids, we loved playing, right? We loved moving around without even knowing we were exercising. We just were existing. So think about, as an adult, what do you like to do now? What are you curious about? You want to get out there and try pickleball. You want to run around and dance to your favorite music. Just think about what you might like to do. And don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as, I'm moving my body. Now, here's the caveat. You can't just say, I don't like the gym, and you've only tried it a few times, right? Try an activity for a few weeks. You got to give it a little chance. See how your body and your mind feel until you move on to something else, okay? Give yourself permission to say, it's not for me. But that doesn't mean you do nothing. Again, find your flavor. Be curious. You got to find something. It's not an option. Some ideas might be maybe you walk outside with a podcast. You get into that rhythm every day or every other day of just doing this. And start small. Start 10 minutes if you want. That's perfect. Or find a group exercise class if you really feel like, I love people. I need that accountability. I need community. Some people love that. Or like join a sports team. So you're not even going to the gym or doing an exercise group per se. You're just playing with other adults. And it doesn't have to be perfect adults who are great at their sport. It could be a very specific group like retired men. It doesn't matter. Find the group of people that you will feel comfortable around. Whatever feels like fun to you, right? Not punishment. That's going to be the thing that sticks, right? If you find something that's fun, it doesn't feel forced. It's going to stick. It's going to turn into a routine and a rhythm that becomes a part of you. So make it fun. And you might be thinking, I don't like any exercise. It's not fun. You're going to find something. I know you are. Start super, super, super small. Like I said, 10 minutes. Go for a 10-minute walk today. Maybe just once a week, the first week. You know you can accomplish that, right? So that feeling of, hey, I did it. I accomplished it. that's going to fuel you for the next week. So start small, make it fun, at least be open-minded, and then hopefully the fun will follow. So number 3, don't say, I just don't like vegetables. I put this one in here because I hear this a lot. So many grown adults saying, I just don't do veggies. I don't do green things. It's almost like their badge of honor. So maybe you didn't like them as a kid, right? But you do owe it to your body to give them another chance. Our bodies and our minds, they need these fabulous vitamins and fiber to fuel our best. Don't just say, I don't do vegetables. Start with veggies you think you might like and keep it simple. And again, set the bar low. I'm not saying you have to eat like dry, boring carrots and dry, raw broccoli all day. No, nobody really likes that. Maybe say, okay, this week I'm going to try to like one vegetable. I'm going to try to like spinach this week and try it in a few different ways throughout the week, right? To give it a chance. Don't go into it writing it off, saying, nope, I don't like it. I tried it once when I was 8. Well, guess what, friend? That was a long time ago. Your taste buds, I'm hoping, have changed a little bit since chicken nuggets and mac and cheese when you were 8. Try it again. Give it a chance. Now, this is going to take research to find recipes and ideas, but how lucky are we? We have this world at our fingertips of the internet and people sharing ideas nonstop. So I know you can do this. It's just going to take a little time and curiosity. And as you incorporate veggies and you stick with it, you're going to feel that your tastes begin to change. I'm telling you, it's absolutely true. Your brain starts to say, oh, I feel amazing, and actually start to crave those veggies you assume were so terrible. And don't feel like you have to love all veggies, right? Start small. Just like the exercise, start small. I roast carrots and cauliflower. I roast almost anything in the oven. And people are always like, what? These are vegetables? Because they get so sweet and kind of like a nice glaze on the outside from the olive oil. It's amazing. You can roast almost anything. If you've never had veggies this way, you're going to be surprised how delicious they are. So again, don't think you have to like shove raw, boring veggies down your throat. Like choke them down and gag. That's not what veggies are about. Learn how to cook like different ways and how to prepare them. You're going to be amazed. Or, you know what? You can throw some spinach in the morning in a smoothie. That's what I do with yogurt and fruit. I'm telling you, you don't taste the spinach, but your body feels amazing. It's a great way to start your day. You got your protein, you got some fiber. Throw it in a smoothie, you don't taste it. So no more saying, I don't do veggies, because you're an adult and your body needs them. And don't just think about today. Think about the 90-year-old version of you. If you start eating spinach and veggies, other veggies today, the 90-year-old version of you will feel a lot better than what she might feel like, he or she might feel like. So number 4, this is a big one. Cut the sugar addiction. If you're like most people, you really crave sugar, so you almost feel like you need it every day, right? But if you eat a lot of sugar every day, this might be the one step you can focus on just for a few months. Just make this be the one thing. If you can conquer this one, everything else tends to get a lot easier because sugar is everywhere. I challenge you today as you eat, pay more attention. It's in all the condiments, ketchup, everything. It's just like mind-boggling. Salad dressing, all these things. You're like, wait, I didn't think I was eating that much sugar. Yeah, it's everywhere. White bread for sure. I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't look at grams or serving sizes, but I'm definitely aware of it. Think about soda. If you're drinking soda every day and then you're putting sugar in your drinks, like you put sugar in your coffee, and then you eat dessert or candy, that's a ton of sugar every day, and that's just all empty calories. It's not doing anything of value to your body. And I'm pretty sure it turns to fat. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, but if you're not moving and you're eating sugar, of course it's going to turn to fat. And it makes your brain kind of go on this roller coaster of highs and lows, and that becomes an addiction. It really is addicting. I joke with my friends, I turn into a raccoon when I eat sugar. I take one bite and I'm like, oh, give me some more. Like it's so delicious. Before I know it, I'm like kind of shoving it in my face. So I'm with you. The struggle is real because sugar is dang delicious, right? It's everywhere. It's delicious and addicting. So for me, over the years, I found the best route is to just cut sugar out almost entirely. The result has been I don't crave it. I really don't. My whole brain, I guess, and my taste buds, they've changed. So now when I do eat it, my head and my stomach hurt, so it's not really worth it. It's no longer hard to turn down desserts at parties, right? I just don't care about it. But on the same note, if it looks really good, I'm going to live a little bit, right? I'll take some once in a while. It's all about that beautiful balance. But being addicted to sugar is something I can't tolerate for myself anymore. I'm not going to let it happen. I haven't done it since college. In college, I was like, you know what? I'm getting kind of gross. I'm going to cut out sugar. And I've really cut it out since then. And I'm now 48 years old. So it really works for me. It's like the one thing I can keep going back to. Okay, I didn't work out too much this week, but I didn't eat sugar. It's like the lighthouse I keep coming back to. Okay, good. At least I have that. So this means like kind of changing my lifestyle. I don't buy desserts. If it's in the house, I'll want it. I'll eat it. So I don't make it. I don't buy it. And I'm kind of raising my kids in the same way of like, you don't need sugar every day. I'd love for you not to have it. So you become an adult who's free and not shackled to sugar addiction. It might sound a little dramatic, but if you're raised on sugary desserts, you're going to crave them your entire life. So make it something you look forward to maybe once a week rather than every single day. So if you're in the place now where you do eat sugar every day and you crave it, no judgment, seriously no judgment, and just start small. Start in a small space. Like what's one thing you can do this week? Just cut out one sugary snack, maybe one cup of coffee with all that extra sugar in it. Cut it out each day and see how you feel after the end of the week. We trick ourselves into thinking like sugar is the reward, right? I gotta have sugar. It's so delicious. Yeah, it's wonderful. But a better reward is not getting stuck in a cycle where we want it and almost need it to feel good, right? The better reward is just have a better, more healthy life, not just a quick fix of sugar. And again, it's hard. No judgment. It is so dang hard. Okay, number 5, the last one on this list. This is super important for everything in life, but especially your health. Plan ahead. This goes for both eating and exercising, right? If you plan ahead, you're going to have a better game plan for making sure you're making better choices and not just getting swept up by your busy week, because we are all so busy. So think about it. If you're so hungry, you're coming home from work, you can't even think straight. I'm so hungry. You're going to be so tempted to stop and get fast food to feel better quickly, rather than coming home, being hungry, cooking real food, waiting to eat 30 minutes. What am I going to eat? There's nothing in the house. I'll just have this bag of Cheetos. You don't have a plan in place, so you're going to fail. Plan ahead by having some easy recipes on hand, grocery shopping for those recipes, and marking on your calendar when you're going to exercise that week, right? And if you don't have a plan in place, if you're like me, you're not going to make time to do things that feel more challenging at first. And you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? You're not giving yourself the space to succeed. So healthy cooking doesn't mean buying crazy ingredients. Doesn't mean you have to go crazy and buy all these fancy things that you don't even know what they are. No. But it does mean being kind enough to yourself to cook. So adults can no longer say, I don't do vegetables, and adults can no longer say, I don't cook. You gotta step it up. You gotta cook so you can be in control of what you put into your body, okay? So keep the ingredients simple. There's so many simple recipes out there that are healthy. Start there. Find a specific time to exercise each day and be specific about the location and duration, right? Don't just say, oh, I better work out this week. Okay, when, where, what time, how long, where's your playlist, where's your music playlist? Be specific. Be as dedicated to this as you are to your work schedule or getting your kids to soccer, right? You don't let those things fall through the cracks. You deserve better health, don't you? So make it a priority. Put it on your calendar. So which of these 5 things will you start this week? Pick one. You can take it nice and slow and really put some effort into one of these goals. The goal here is not to do all of them and be like, okay, I did them all, checked it off my list. No, do a deep dive into one, whichever one you feel like you're struggling with. Start there. Then in a few weeks, when you add another step, you've laid the foundation for success, rather than saying, I'm going to run a marathon and buy only veggies this weekend, no sugar for me. That's too much, right? You're going to be miserable if you do that. because you didn't give your brain the chance to adjust. I can't say that enough. You got to give your brain the chance to adjust to this very different way of living. If it feels hard and you want to quit, yep, that's great. It means you're doing the thing. You're challenging your brain. But within 2 weeks or so, you're going to feel a turn, a shift of like, okay, this is a little bit better than last week. And have faith it's going to get better and better. The goal essentially is to turn these things into who you are automatically, right? Like, so now I'm a person, I just don't eat sugar. It's just who I am. Let it become who you are so you don't rely on willpower. Willpower is a tricky thing. We never really feel like exercising, right? But we start to trick our brains into becoming that person who does crave exercise. So we rely on that craving and just how our brains are now wired because we've made exercise a part of our lives. So willpower doesn't even have to be present for us to want to do it. We all know how hard it is to say no to sugar and yes to moving and say no to the supersized meal that's so delicious and yes to our planning of meals ahead of time. It's the harder road. Yeah, it really is, you guys. But I'm telling you, it's 100% worth it. And again, I'm not saying be perfect, 6-pack abs, no sugar ever. No, like have a glass of wine, enjoy life. But find that moderation where, okay, I'm moving. I'm not having as much sugar. I feel better. I'm not going to fast food at all anymore. Like just little changes that start to add up to bigger changes in a different lifestyle. And as always, I want you to do more than just think about this. Don't just listen to the podcast and say, I should do that. Set a timer now for 10 minutes and write about it if you're willing to. What do you want to start with? What kind of jumped out at you and kind of grabbed you and said, ooh, yeah, I want to do that? What health goals do you have? More importantly, why do you have those goals? Do you want to live longer for your kids? You want to have more energy? You want to enjoy life more as you go into retirement? That's a big one. Uncovering your why is going to help you attach being healthy to your values. You got to do that. That's so powerful. So you can keep remembering your why. Why am I doing this? It's worth it. Keep remembering your motivation, your reason for doing this. Your mind and your body, again, they deserve the best fuel possible. You're going to feel a difference if you start small and you let your brain latch on to new things that feel way better than sugar addiction and laying on the couch. If it feels too overwhelming to make any changes, don't give up. Give yourself 3 months to make one change that you can sustain. Think about what change you want to start with, and again, write about that. 3 months to do a deep dive into one of these. If that's the pace you need to move at, great. I'm right there next to you. Take your time. Really do a deep dive and enjoy it and make it stick. Think about it. If you took 3 months to kick your sugar addiction, that's going to last much better than if you try it 1 week, right? 3 months. Maybe take out your calendar and circle a date 3 months from now when you're listening to this and put a star on it. Like that's your day. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to see how I feel on that day after 3 months of doing this. This is really hard work, you guys. It really is. So congratulate yourself for even considering it. I know you can do it, and it makes me really happy to think about the changes you're going to feel if you keep at it slowly and consistently. So grab an apple, get moving, and remember, you're awesome.